welcome to the 100 Helping Hands TUI Care live session. My name is Lena. I am part of the TUI Care Foundation team, and I'm very happy to guide you through the next hour and tell you all about 3 organizations that we have been supporting in the framework of our 100 Helping Hands. Before I give the stage to Thomas Ellerbeck, I would like to say something about technicality. So it would be great if you could mute yourself while you are in the session. It would be also great if you could keep your videos off so that we can have a full focus on our organizations and on Thomas Ellerbeck, who are joining today. Please note that the session is going to be recorded as well, and you can find the recording tomorrow on our website and on YouTube as well. If you have any comments, if you have any questions to ask, please feel free to interact. We would like to make this as a way to connect as well, to find a new network. You can use the chat option that we have here to ask any kinds of questions and to interact. Okay, and with that, I give the stage to Thomas Ellerbeck, Chairman of the TUI Care Foundation.
Perfect. Thank you, Annalena. And well, a really warm welcome to everybody now with me on stage, on digital stage, virtual stage, but also to everybody who is listening and want to discuss later with us. I think we have done great project in the last months, but we have especially great partners and now talking in this group of people with our partner organization in Sri Lanka, in Turkey and in Morocco. It's really a pleasure for me to learn more about. I've visited the project in Morocco, but I haven't been to Turkey and to Sri Lanka. My board colleague Dagmar Wörl, she is very much involved in all the projects in Sri Lanka. As a former parliamentarian and a former state secretary, she has a long relation to Sri Lanka and to the foundation we hear today about, and therefore it's really a pleasure for us to work with all of you, and we are knowing about also your dedication to the work of the foundation, to the work you are doing in your countries, because I believe a crisis like this and a lot of topics which have to be solved in the broader society cannot be done only by government. It is needed that the civil sector, the private sector, foundations work together and that we find the best solutions. So the TUI Care Foundation was founded in 2016. So at that time, we believe that tourism can be really a force for good for so many countries around the world, and that local participation is very, very important, that local communities can get better out of crisis, but also can get more influence on tourism, the tourism agenda, and the contribution for society could be much higher when we work together, when we work closely together with local partners and associations. So we decided at some point that the TUI Care Foundation will focus on 3 areas, 3 pillars. This is one, education, it's our TUI academies. Very, very important because we believe in education is really the base for everything in your life. If families can send their children to school, and when they can learn and prepare for their business life later, this will stabilize societies and will give opportunities for young children and make them more independent, probably also. The second pillar is on environment and animal welfare, and our third pillar is on the local participation, our TUI Cares program, TUI Cares for Turkey, TUI Cares for Malaga, TUI Cares for Crete, and we have a lot of these local programs started over the last years. Now, during the crisis, I think it was unbelievable for everybody in this chat that we will have to face with such a crisis we now see with the coronavirus, and a lot of countries are affected very, very much. And when you see countries where they are so dependent on tourism for the GDP. And because you have countries, they have no natural goods and they have no industrial production like Germany. So they have probably a wonderful nature. They have sun, sea, beach, and they have people and they have service, and they like to work in the service industry. They like to work in hotel industry, in tourism, in restaurants, and that's they are popular for. Now for them, it's really a very difficult time because tourism has stopped nearly around the world due to the global travel warnings we have faced with in, I think, first in March, and now also there are a lot of travel warnings from many countries around the world. So we are not back to normal, and therefore we believe we should work with partners and see how we can support and how we can help that the tourism sector will stay intact also for the time after COVID, after the time after Corona, because we all believe there will be a time after Corona, and probably due to the news we got over the last weeks from science and from the medical companies, we know about the possible vaccine. So I think there is really the light on the horizon we always talk about, and therefore we all should do everything to save the tourism industry and to save really an intact tourism industry, tourism in small entrepreneurs. There are a lot of businesses, small business around this big industry, because a lot of smaller companies have started their own business, and there is a high risk that this all will collapse when we not work together, when we not collaborate in these times. And therefore, I'm very grateful and thankful to the foundations in this group we are now talking together, because you all do a fantastic job in your countries, and for us it's alignment we can support. As TUI Care Foundation, we are working in this Corona crisis mainly on two initiatives. One is our initiative together with the Federal Ministry of Development Aid in Germany, the BMZ, and the GIZ, where we try to empower local entrepreneurs, on the one hand with financial support, but on the other hand with mentorship. So I think it's very important to have the local tourism industry alive, that we also try to train them in this time, that we give mentors to their side, that they can also develop and be prepared for the time after COVID and after Corona. And the second initiative, and that's probably also we are talking today about, is our initiative 100 Helping Hands, which supports especially local and organizations on a global scale. And we are working on the ground to reduce the impact of the pandemic. And I think it responds really directly to the needs of communities supporting local aid organization in the holiday destination, because I believe strongly you all in the chat and on stage with me, you're much closer to the topics and to the issues which are relevant for the people, the local communities in your countries now. But we can support you. We can support you with financial schemes, and we can support you with the competence of our colleagues around the world, because this is one of, I think, really the advantages of TUI Care Foundation. The foundation is independent from the company, but we know thousands of colleagues. They are so committed to the objectives and to the purpose of TUI Care Foundation that they all are very, very happy to support also in the local communities with their knowledge, with their experience, with their contact, with their networks. And that's, I think, staying together, it's very important in these times for civil society, but also for governments and for the industry. So we believe we will come out of this crisis, hopefully all stronger. We will have a stronger partnership with the destinations. We at Surya Foundation believe strongly that the participation is very, very important, that the local communities, the countries, the destinations can benefit from the tourism, from the people coming to their countries, because it's more than aid, it's, well, preparing them to make a stable business out of it. And especially for young entrepreneurs, it's really a high opportunity to benefit from this industry. And also we have a lot of female projects because we also know that it's very, very important that women can have a job, that they can that they are educated. When they have an income, they will send their children to school, which is very important, because then they have the room and the freedom to send their children to school, which is very important for the future of most of, especially the lower and middle income states. So thank you very much for giving me this time for the introduction. I think it's a little bit longer. As I said before, I'm mostly a little bit longer, but now I'm really excited to learn about our projects, our partners, and well, I'm happy to join the discussion later also with the participants in the room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ellerbeck, very much. Yeah, so we can now, after giving you a little bit of an insight into who we are talking with today, and then a little bit of where are we actually active with our 100 Helping Hands program, to go into more detail into the organization. So first of all, I have three amazing women joining us today in our panel. We have Jaula from Picala Bikes, Lanka from Zuria Foundation, and Esra from FETAF. All kinds of different destinations in the world. We have Morocco, we have Sri Lanka, and we have Turkey joining. So this is also reflected in maybe this map here. So to give you a little bit of insight, we're working all over the world to help destinations, communities in need with our 100 Helping Hands program, mostly focusing on holiday destinations. And with that, I'm gonna give the stage to the first organization. Let us introduce the organizations, and please give us a little bit of an insight into what have you been doing pre-Corona times, just to give us an idea of how your activities have changed maybe, or how you have been building up on them after the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Jaula, maybe you want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about Picala Bikes.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaula and I'm 24 years old. I work as a social project management at Picala Bikes. Well, Picala was founded in 2016, and the word Picala stands for bike in Moroccan dialect. The whole project emphasized that the aim of this initiative is to encourage the use of a bicycle and to create employment opportunities for young people, and the management and repair of the bicycles and so on, as well as the ecotourism service. In addition, the project aims to promote sustainable mobility and to teach and raise awareness among youth. The children also about road safety and environment. Picala is mostly strategized as to create bicycle development, is to make innovative to three levels: the civil society, integrating children, youth, and inhabitants of the city in Marrakesh in activities and create positive impact on their daily life. And second is economy, job creation for youth, create sustainable for finance sustainability of the project, assure that the project is correspond to the need of the society. And third, governmental side, to assure long-term impact on road safety and urban mobility, and also to facilitate the exchange of the expression of the infrastructures of the levels. So this is mainly what Picala is focusing on, and I hope that I give you a brief introduction about us.
Yeah. Follow-up question, how is it closely aligned to tourism?
Well, from the economic side, as I mentioned, we try to create financial sustainability on the project by organizing bicycle tours like guided tours. So we go to around the city of Marrakesh and like discover the hidden jewels of the city by a bike. So it is guided by one of our guides that most of them are youngsters from the university, and they work as a side job with us. And the other part-time they study at the university. So it also equalized their studies, and they get the chance and experience to work. And also we're offering different sides of discovering Marrakesh in a healthy way.
Yeah, in a sustainable way.
Yeah.
And also for creating jobs and having tourists enjoy Morocco and Agadir in a very sustainable way. Thank you, Khawla, for the short overview. Lanka, you have given us some slides to introduce Surya Foundation.
Hi, good evening and warm greetings from Sri Lanka. And also I need to pass on warm greetings to the chairperson and the board of directors from the founder of Surya Foundation. Thank you so much for this support. Sri Lanka is the pearl of the Indian Ocean. So when you talk of tourism, our whole country, there is tourism, and we were the #1 destination for travel destination in Sri Lanka before the Corona hit. Our mandate, if you can go on to the next slide, Lena, please.
Yes.
The mandate of the Surya Foundation is basically, we have been working since 1995, and we are the long-standing NGO in Sri Lanka. Now this is our 35th year. Our mandate has been, we've been working on social integration. So there are many aspects of social integration, and we look at education, access to health, in terms of reconciliation. So we have various different projects, which are mostly, we have a center in one province, but our programs are conducted in mainly 3 provinces, Western province, the Central province, and also the Northern province. Can I go on to the next slide, please? Yeah, basically our vision and the mission are in line with our social integration. So we bring light to the lives of the community. How you bring light varies according to the needs of the communities. Next slide, please, Lena. And these are the 4 different areas that we have been working on, and we continue to work on. And unfortunately, because of the corona, a lot of our activities are restricted. And this particular project supported us in actually initiating a novel concept for Sri Lanka. And we are the first pilot to initiate STEM education. And I think that will be discussed in the next session. But previously we were looking at health, we were looking at education in terms of transforming future generation. We were looking at the more innovative techniques of information technology and English education, which are essential tools for the job market. We also look at empowering livelihood development, and we do target specifically the females, because in Sri Lanka, they seem to be mostly they tend to be the breadwinners in most of the families. And we are also very proud to say that we've been the belonging and responsibility component in terms of social integration. We've had a war ranging over 20 years. So still a lot of reconciliation happens. We've moved on from there, but Surya Foundation has played a key role in integrating 2 different factors of society, the main, the Sinhalese and the Tamil communities. And a lot of success stories are there from that program as well. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Though that's basically what we have been doing pre-COVID. And one of the 2 project areas we have specifically chosen for this project are basically touristic areas. The tea that you drink, which is very famous all over the world, the Ceylon tea, comes from one province where we are doing a project. And the other one is from the Western province, which is a highly urbanized area in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Lanka. And also here we see a clear connection to tourism. And it's great to see what you've been doing in the past years. Obviously, those are pictures with so many people. We don't know this anymore, but so many people in the pictures pre-corona times. And very much looking forward to hear what you've been doing ever since the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Esra, do you want to go next and introduce FETAF?
Thank you, Lena. I'm really excited and very happy to be part of this beneficial panel. And I would like to, on behalf of my foundation, to thank you all, TwoCare Foundation team, to start such a worthwhile program, which really contributes to the local communities in these difficult times. Well, I have been working for more than 4 years for FETA. I'm an active volunteer in many cultural and educational activities of it. But at the moment, I'm involved in 3 different projects which are running related to tourism. FETA was established with 103 passionate lovers of Fethiye 26 years ago. And the full name is Tourism, Promotion, Cultural, Environment and Education Foundation. And as you may guess, it has been implementing multiple activities and projects to raise awareness on several issues. It organizes and hosts cultural and social events. And we try to promote the destination with consideration of sustainable tourism. We try to implement activities related to environmental conservation and volunteering in Fethiye. In relation to sustainable tourism, we managed to Taste of Fethiye project, which was an award-winning project by UNWTO. It connected small local suppliers to large hotel chains in Fethiye area. And we undertook the secretarial role of the other project, Flavors from the Fields, which was a TwoCare Foundation project. And this project is developing market linkages between local products, producers in Muğla and supplying it hotels and other tourism businesses. Blueway Project was another successful one, which aims to improve awareness to the marine environment from marine tourism, both within the tourism sector and amongst the tourism themselves. Muğla region and Fethiye is especially a popular tourism destination, and in the corona crisis, it has a deep impact on tourism activities as well as all over the world. So we very much see this 100 Helping Hands program an opportunity to help communities in our region, and we are really very happy part of it. And later on, I will discuss my detail all corona-related projects activities.
Looking forward. Thank you, Esra. Yeah, now that we got a little bit of an overview of who we are supporting, I guess it's getting clear for the audience that we have been really focusing on all kinds of different organizations that can now have an impact on the communities now that the tourism has hit those destinations very hard. And we will go on now to talk about a little bit what has been done in the last couple of months. Esra, there's another slide from you, but I think, do you want to touch on this one as well?
Okay, shall I begin with my activities?
No, this is still about the general introduction of FETAF, but I think we got a general idea. If you want to add something, feel free.
I mean, I think that's enough because we have plenty of things. So I just wanted to make this a short explanation of what FETAF is doing at the moment.
Thank you. So why are we all here? The COVID-19 pandemic has really brought us together in this times, and we've been supporting organizations, as you know, within the 100 Helping Hands framework from the TwoCare Foundation. And as difficult as these last months have been for communities all over the place, it has also brought organizations and networks together, such as our network today. And we would like to share with you, what have you been doing in times of this of the COVID-19 pandemic? And maybe Raula, you would like to give us a little bit of an insight. There are some pictures of Picala and the activities that Picala has been doing. Could you tell us how has Picala changed their activities now after the hit of the COVID-19 pandemic? Who have been the beneficiaries, what has been your focus in the last couple of months?
Sure. Well, during the pandemic, all of our activities has been stopped. As you know, all over the world, everything has been frozen, so nothing has been active. And then we have to come to conclude that our community exposed to the need of the basic life element more than any other activity that we could ever offer. Therefore, with the support of the TwoCare Foundation, we choose to tackle this as a main issue. We've been able to do the emergency response project, We distributed food baskets to the family in need, family who lost their jobs, people who used to work in a random tourism section, street vendors. Everyone has infected by the corona crisis. So they were more in need of the basic elements of life, like food and normal life needs. We've been able to support 841 family with the approximate of 3,481 member of each, like in general, for both Marrakesh and Agadir. And we also distributed sandwiches for like people in the street, homeless, because during the pandemic, everyone closed the door and everyone was so scared that they will be infected. So no one was out. But people who like homeless people, refugees, people from South Africa who came to Morocco, they're left with nothing because everyone was scared. They closed their door. It was hard to support them anyway. So we come up with the sandwiches distribution, cooked meals. So we distribute them 3 days a week to 4. So we distributed so far around 2,368 sandwich up till today. We were so proud, and that encouraged a lot of people to support us. By that, a lot of cafeterias, a lot of snacks, a lot of shops were interested. We received a lot of volunteers who want to participate in this event because they also saw the need that we need to unite together so we can support more as we can do. And that was a great pleasure to work all with youngsters and all with all the restaurants that were interested in collaborating with us, and we took this as a serious matter, and we've gone forward. And we're also doing an awareness campaign to children. Mainly we're focusing on children and on teenagers. We've been distributing papers that I can show you some. I have here some drawings about corona and road safety, and they're all indicated, and we received hundreds and hundreds of one of these drawings. So people were very interested. We distribute around 5,620. So it was huge, and we worked with the 60 school, and now we're still looking forward to approximate of extra 1,120. So we're really taking this forward, and we're taking this so serious, and we really hope that this actually can achieve something and can have a great impact on both society and everyone who wants to do something in the future. So
Yeah.
this were mainly what we're doing, and that's it.
Well,
Thank you for
thank you very much. I think it's great to see how you have adapted your model, because I was last time in Marrakesh in February. We met in February,
Of course.
and there was a completely different time, and I've seen again how proud people have been working in the Pukala project, and with this different kind of job opportunities for mechanics, about tour guides, and doing administration. So really, you formed your social business in Marrakesh. And also for me, as somebody who is not so trained in cycling in a very big city like Marrakesh, I felt so safe from the first moment with a tour guide of Picala. Well, after the Corona crisis started and the lockdown came, there have been no tourists, but I think it's impressive model to show how fast you have adapted your business model, and now you're working in a social business, but in a way that you could use everything you have started with the tour guides now to support homeless people, to support vulnerable groups, families, they need help. So the infrastructure is intact, and I'm sure the infrastructure will be also intact to move the business again back to the original business you are doing with the tours after the Corona crisis. So very, very impressive, and thank you to everybody in your team, Kantal, but everybody, I met so many people at my visitors in Picala. Thank you to everybody, and well, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Gaula. Another organization that has been involving children a lot. I really like the example, Gaula, of how creative you've been to involve children and to make them be part of this, and excited in some ways also about getting in touch with Picala in these really difficult times. Another organization that has been also focusing on young people and on children is Surya Foundation. And maybe Lanka, you can tell us a little bit about what you've been doing ever since the COVID-19 outbreak, and in the framework of our 100 Helping Hands support that the TUI Care Foundation gave you.
Thank you, Lena. So our COVID issues for us started in March. Before that, we were absolutely fine. Although globally there were issues, we were actually quite isolated. So March, we suddenly went down into a lockdown. So what we are an organization that looks at different aspects. And one of the things that worried us the most were the children who now, because of the school closures, were at home. So this was the main reason for requesting support from you for the homeschool program. This required, we were very ambitious with the program. I think it's a 7-month proposal, which was started in June. And we are implementing areas, as you can see on the slides, are 2 areas. The purple area is the tea country, the hill country, where we are implementing part of the project. And the other one is the Surya Foundation in Gampaha, which is the urbanized area. So project areas are very well defined. And out of the 2, the hill country is very much related to tourism, because we get a lot of, it's a tourist destination to look at the tea country, the tea plantations are there. So it's very, although from the COVID it was originally spared, this is an area where there is a lot of economic issues because of the COVID. If you can go to the next slide, Lena.
Yep. If it wants to, there we go.
Oh, no. Yeah, thank you. So through the project, we wanted to, can you go back 1 slide? Sorry. We have 3 different target groups. Now, these are all pictures taken before the COVID, because so what we wanted to do was we used to get school children coming into the institutions. These are children who have not even touched a computer in their lives. They used to come to the institution. They spend about 3 hours there, and we used to follow the STEM curriculum. This is a very new initiative in Sri Lanka, and this is the first pilot to be done. And we have had national level consultations also. So STEM curricula was something we looked at. It's a 6-month curricula. We were doing this in the institution, but because of the COVID, we had to stop that and go on to the online platform. And that's where the TUI Foundation supported us. So this was a novel initiative, and the first target group are young children. Who absolutely love this initiative, and this is the future of education in Sri Lanka, and we are hoping that the pilot we do here also would contribute to the national policy level bodies. The second, next slide please, Lena.
Yep.
The other target group was the youth. Now both are here, what we do is we are targeting the job market. When we do a detailed analysis of Sri Lanka, we find that a lot of the youth lack the basic skills of IT and English, which are essential for basically for furthering their careers. So looking at this gap only, we had done, these are all pre-COVID pictures. Again, young students and youth used to come to the institution, and we follow standard curricula, diplomas. These are all international standard curricula. They get a Pearson and edXL certification, which is internationally recognized. And it's a 6-month, this one is a 6-month to 1-year course. Again, we converted the same course that we were doing physically onto a digital platform. We were also trying for a third category. When we applied to TUI, we were targeting the workforce. And we were doing classes in terms of giving them basic IT knowledge in Microsoft package, in basic English, but that was not something we could do online. And this is a very good experience, because we found out, although we were not We suddenly went into a COVID crisis. We were discussing on IT matters at a national level, looking at curricula changing, but this sudden change caused a huge issue, and especially geographical locations that we are piloting in. Also, we found that there were many other issues that we had to face. Next slide, please, Lee. So this was our target audience, a very ambitious program. We couldn't that we were trying to train in terms of teachers and government workers, we couldn't do that. Now we are still on lockdown. The schools are still closed. So we are continuing with the online education. We have finished one batch of the STEM education. We've not been able to have a grad because we didn't want to send the test certificates. They wanted to come to the institution. We've not been able to hold that as well. So those are with us. So the IT English course is also finished. We've done the assessment, but we have not been able to have give out the certificates as well. One of the issues we found when implementing the program was, which we hadn't considered earlier, was the geographical locations and our internet facility availability in those areas. So I must say from March up until now, there's a lot of new facilities that have come to play. But because of the issues, economic issues, and especially in the hill country, poor socio-economic conditions, they don't have the smartphone, a tablet, or any device to do this kind of education. We've actually had to stop. We were doing a preschool education program, diploma for training teachers. We had to stop that because we tried the online and they don't have the facilities for internet or the equipment either. The students are extremely interested. So if these facilities are available, I think there's a lot of potential in doing that. And we have tried to do that. At the moment, what they do is different groups of children get together in one house and they do it. We conduct online classes, especially in the evenings when the parents are there. So that's how we do it. Gaps are there, but these are things that can be corrected. And with the current situation, we don't see the schools opening up. In other areas, they opened for a while and some areas have closed down again, but Western province is still closed. So that's what we have been, I think that's all right. Lena, any other?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
There's an impression, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was the only graduation we could actually hold in the midst of Corona. So, I mean, the beauty of the thing is how interested these children are and the love for the computers and IT. So we are hoping that, you know, we would create a Bill Gates out of one of them. We are teaching them coding. We are teaching them a new curriculum. We are going beyond the school, what the schools taught. And the interest and the grasp, especially of the young children, are amazing. And we hope to continue this, you know, with the next year as well. So thank you so much. These are the two institutions that are implementing the program in the two provinces. Thanks, Lena.
Thank you, Lanka.
Can you just say one word, because
Yes.
there was one region in your country which was affected very, very much. Well, now I think it's 17 years ago with the tsunami. It was the region around Gale, where also TUI was at that time very much involved to reconstruct a village and to give families a new home. What's the situation now in Gale during the crisis? I visited the new village I think 2 or 3 years ago. Is this a region which is very much affected because they have less tourists, because also no tourists from the country? Or can you say something about this region, because I think we are all very familiar with this village which has been rebuilt after the tsunami?
Yeah, thank you so much. Galle is actually one of our very popular tourist destinations. I mean, if you go there now, you would feel very sad. The fort is empty, the shops are closed, nothing is happening. But it has been very lucky because Western province, where we are operating, that has the highest numbers. I mean, compared to the global statistics, we may not be that much, but every day we get about 300 cases positive, and we have about 2 to 5 deaths every day. But Galle and the southern province is fairly contained. So we have not had that many people or cases from that area, but we want a kind of a national lockdown in areas, and Galle was never it was not a strict lockdown that was in place. So it's not severely affected, but the tourism has really affected, because all the tourism sector, there are a lot of implications. The hotels are giving many deals, even the Sri Lankan tourists. Now the airport is shut. So there were Sri Lankan people who were moving around, but that stopped with our second wave of Corona that came in. So very tough times, and Galle is a city which was hubbing, which was lively, and it's now a dead city. People are not, they are not sure about the future. They are not sure about how things are, whether things, and if things are going to get better, but it will. It will just take some time, and it's a matter of survival, and they have the strength to do that. So the southern part, which is a high tourist area, Nuwara, which is a high tourist area, the issue is, although we don't have the global tourists coming in, they were dependent somewhat on the local tourists, which has also now stopped. So there's a drastic consequence because of all that.
Thank you, Lanka, for making this more clear to us. And very impressive how you keep on going, even though the country is on lockdown. But this is such an important way of looking into the future and supporting youth. And as you said, they are really interested in this and they want to learn. So keep it going, because it's really pioneering in Sri Lanka. And it's very inspiring to see that you're trying to make things possible, even though it's so difficult at the moment to keep it going. We would move on to the next organization, slightly different target group of beneficiaries. Esra, do you want to talk about what FETAF has been doing in the past couple of months in the framework of the 100 Helping Hands program?
Well, according to the information we receive from local authorities, awareness about COVID-19 is very limited, especially in the highland villages in our region. And people living in those areas are usually work in tourism businesses and do mainly gardening and maintenance-related jobs. And a significant decrease in their income causes them not to afford some of the personal protection materials against COVID-19. Apart from the financial shortages, the level of education in these villages is low. And in addition to that, these communities are very accustomed to spending time all together in line with their traditions. Therefore, a possible COVID-19 outbreak can lead to a very negative consequences in these villages. So according to these facts, we plan to arrange our meetings. What are our activities? Mainly awareness meetings. We prepare the trainings, which are easy to understand for local communities, simple and creative. We design interactive trainings. You may pass the second slide, Lena. We design interactive trainings for daily practice about social distance, personal hygiene, and some other general COVID-19 related matters. In our project team, we have healthcare professionals working at university, and those trainings are voluntarily given by them. Second, we aim and we are distributing 20,000 disposable masks, those local communities who are difficult to reach the mask. And thirdly, we prepare some multiple informative leaflets and brochures and some place visible signs in the common areas of the villages. And those are all designed to raise awareness for protection against COVID-19. Regarding our beneficiaries, we would like to reach approximately 3,500 people in the villages during our activities, including adults, young children, with our all awareness trainings. And actually, we would like to later plan to upload all our training materials and resources for open sources, and the people can benefit from that. And you can also show the next slide.
Yeah, here we see it.
Yes, so you can, as you may see from our pictures from our awareness trainings in the villages, some in door-to-door visits, some are, we prepare before the lockdowns and before the limitations in the center of the villages.
Okay, next slide. More impressions?
Well, I would like to, during our visits, the residents' attendance is high, as you may see, and we really receive very good, high and appreciation for our awareness meetings, banners, brochures. And during our project activities, we haven't faced any negative approach, by the way, from the local communities. On the contrary, we receive very much appreciation. But as the corona cases rise, the restrictions on meeting has been increased. Therefore, we adapted our training sessions and turned into, as you may see, small gatherings. Also, we make door-to-door house visits in neighborhoods. We will continue to raise awareness by giving practical and simple protection information during all these visiting family groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
That's it for now.
Thank you, Esra. It's incredible to see how active FETAF has been in the last couple of months. We see so many pictures, and I love how you really act, what you preach basically, which is wearing masks, making sure you keep the social distance. This is what you want to bring across, and in every single picture that I've seen so far, FETAF is doing such an amazing job, really mirroring what they want to bring across to the communities. And really targeting also the rural areas where this kind of education, maybe this kind of training is really hard to get, distributing masks where it's needed. So you really went out there. We saw you in action in the pictures as well, distributing the leaflets and the masks. So it's been really a hands-on approach and a true emergency relief activity. So it's great to see and be part of it and support such an organization.
Thank you.
Also, many thanks from my side, and I will also take the opportunity to tell the colleagues in the Surya Foundation board about your initiative. Thank you very much. Great.
You.
Yeah. A question that I have for all of you, and we've briefly touched upon on this already from Esra, is what kind of impact have you seen now that the activity has been rolled out for a couple of weeks? Esra, maybe you want to touch on this a little bit more. How have people reacted? You said so far there haven't been any negative reactions. How can you see this also maybe bringing this to the future? Now seeing these reactions, is there something from the activities that you've been doing that you want to continue with after the COVID-19 pandemic is over? Maybe have you learned some new ways of working, maybe also with organizations that you would like to implement once the pandemic has come to an end? Isra, you want to start?
Well, we all know that these days are difficult for people whose livelihoods depend on tourism. This project between FETAF and Surya Foundation is seen very positive because the local people benefit in Fethiye and the region from our activities during these difficult times. Therefore, I believe that it will be encouraging for local institutions seeking new opportunities in sustainable tourism, and as well as other foundations. And FETAF will continue to enhance long-term cooperation opportunities after corona crisis. During the project activities, since we come closer with local communities, we examine their needs and possible opportunities better to be raised in the future. So FETAF will definitely develop projects which will provide improvements for also local communities.
Thank you. Lanka, how do you think will that develop once the pandemic has come to an end, or it's going to be a little bit easier to meet up again? Your focus has been very much on online education, right? Is that something that you will continue after the pandemic?
Actually, the purpose was to kind of push the online thing, but we found there are so many difficulties. So what we want to do is once the lockdown is kind of lifted, we want to have a mixed model. For part of the students to come to the students and also carry on the online method. But the main area of promotion is the online method, because that's, I think pre-COVID, post-COVID life will never be the same as what we had earlier. So we want to push for a online method and also open it out to other areas as well. Online need not be geographically specific. So we have now only concentrated on 2 provinces. Open it out, it's a free course, and it's done every 6 months, especially the STEM course, which is the 6-month modules children are very interested. But in the next phase, we need to devise a mechanism of giving some support to students with some equipment, which could be done on a returnable basis, because the interest is there. And we have also negotiated with some companies on internet provisions as well. And we are negotiating on some equipment, tabs, things like that, so that they are able to do some work from home, which is what we are trying to promote, but also open up the institutions, at least in one of the provinces initially, so that the students can come and learn there as well. But we have to maintain a lot of stringent control with that. And there is a risk involved, and that won't start until things settle down a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I must say the response from the communities, especially in the hill country, where no one else is doing it. Actually, even the schools, the government schools, only the children in the urban areas, in the Colombo areas, are doing online school with Microsoft Teams, with Zoom. These facilities are not available for the rural children. So the government is trying to have a uniform policy of promoting and enhancing the online education. But I think the fact that we as a non-governmental organization supporting this effort has carried a lot of I think gratitude from the communities and also from the parents. So even though the parents are economically not that sound, they do make every effort so that children are joining up. So we have to find some method of giving some relief to them as well, for at least the children to partake and undergo this training, so that they get an interest in IT and English as well. We also have added some additional things like maths and all the fun items to this curriculum. So children are very interested. Their thinking models have changed. So there's a lot of potential in promoting this online platform.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
And Gaula, how would that be from a Picala point of view?
Well, during this pandemic and the impact that has, what we've been doing is that we witnessed a lot of people wants to help, and that wasn't very obvious for us at the beginning or what we did before. But after the crisis, like what we're going through right now, it shows that everyone wants to participate, at least by any small thing. Like volunteers, for example, we witnessed a lot of people who wants to volunteer and help, and that is, and most of them are youngsters. So we can see the spirit that everyone wants to participate in this community and this country and want to take step forward and make it a better place. So I would say that's the main gain for us, since there are a lot of people who are now taking under consideration that this is an emergency situation and they have to help at any cost. And the youth are less exposed to the virus than the elderly, so they want to dedicate themselves to everything that can be done. And also we witness a lot of new partners who wants to join us, so we can take this forward. So it is great to see that we are making a change or printing an impact on the society by helping one another. That is something we did not witness earlier, but now you can see how everyone wants to create a solidarity between one another, so we can face this together. So I think what we've created over here is very, very impressive, and I really admire the fact that each of all the organizations that are joining, or other organizations in the world, are doing the same. So that shows that there's still good in the world, and we're really taking a step forward and making this perfect.
Thank you for this positive message, Gaula. Yeah, and maybe this is also something Esra and Lanka, you could touch on more. So, I mean, Lanka, you've been already working towards a more online focused education, but have you both in the last couple of months, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, worked with different organizations that you think you can continue working with after the pandemic hit? So has that maybe widened your network in a way that you didn't expect, because, you know, who would have expected such a pandemic to happen? But maybe, yeah, this was a possibility of connecting more with other organizations or networks that you didn't expect. Has that happened to your organization in some ways? Esra, you want to start?
Well, FETO has always close collaboration with local institutions and FETIA governorship and other foundations, but we do feel the positive impact of the project activities really on our networks. And FETIA governorship support us with their networks and help us with their channels, which make easier to access the communities. So we do feel that this really brings the stronger partnership between the local institutions and the other foundations. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Lanka, has that impacted Surya Foundation in some ways?
We have actually not got any other new organizations working on the STEM curricula as such. Most of the organizations we are working with currently, we have been working pre-COVID as well. So we have been continuing that partnership. But looking, so because it's a very new area, so we seem to be the only organizations that doing kind of a regular kind of a curricula following that. And the only other organization, STEM Up Foundation, we have already been working with them. But in the future, we are looking at other platforms. We are looking at the national level. We are looking at other pilots. But still things are too unsettled to do that. But definitely next year, we are looking at different other organizations, because whatever we do will fall as part of a national pilot initiative, which will help support policy making in the country. So that's quite important. So we will be looking at that next year.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a difficult, different and exciting development for Zuria Foundation, because you're so pioneering in this field now, that you need to find your network in this STEM online education to continue with this, right? No established partners and on this level yet. So very much looking forward to see how this is developing in the next couple of years. We are very closely, unfortunately, to coming to an end already. There was one question in the chat asked by Marco, wanting to know if there are 100 Helping Hands projects focusing on capacity building for tourism businesses to make it through the crisis. And Marco, yes, as you've seen maybe on the slide that we've shown earlier, we are active in so many different destinations at the moment with our 100 Helping Hands program. And we do have organizations within this network that are really helping also our other organizations with education to give them capacity to go through this crisis together. I would like to thank you all so much for sharing your stories. It has been really inspiring to see.
Anna, I think there's another question from Sai. Yes, there have been some questions. Probably we should give him the opportunity.
Yeah.
My question to the organizations, are they willing to participate in an international campaign called Local Plus to help local startups, cooperatives, etc., Lamina platform Atlas bridges?
To the organizations, yeah, well, this is something
we should discuss.
Yeah, maybe to keep in mind for the organizations joining today. It's a good question to ask, and feel free to reach out to this initiative. I, as a representative of the 2Care Foundation, cannot tell you too much about the Locals Plus at the moment.
But Said, we can say probably that we also in other cases support startups, that we are working with startups also in our programs now during the crisis. We have done it also in the past with impact in some countries. So it's something I think we can take with us, Annalena and me, and discuss with the colleagues in the board, and probably also our colleagues from the partner organization can discuss about. Thanks, Said.
Thank you for that question. Okay. Any other questions that are urgently to ask? Otherwise, if there are any organizations maybe listening, anyone who thinks this could be a program where I could apply to as well for my organization, then please reach out. Also, if you have follow-up questions, because the time has come to an end, but I'm sure there are more questions arising, reach out to tuicarefoundation.com and we're happy to help you and hopefully to see more applications coming in and to help more vulnerable communities in these difficult times. I wanted to thank all the organizations that are with us today. Thank you, Esra, Lanka, and Raula for introducing what your organizations have been doing. As I said, very inspiring. Please keep the good work up. Very happy as the TUI Care Foundation to support these great initiatives. And yeah, we wish you all the best, and we're staying in touch anyway throughout our partnership.
Also, we thank you to TUI Care Foundation team again for such opportunity, and would like to improve our cooperation in the future.
Thank you, Ezra.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, then we're going to close the session. It was a pleasure, and I wish you all a good afternoon, a good evening, a good morning, wherever you have been joining us in this world. Stay safe.